Historic Custer Stadium is the site tonight for a Richardson Division showdown in the Milwaukee City Conference. It's Rufus King and Riverside, our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights, presented by U.S. Cellular. Up in the booth with Terry Kelly, John Weiser with you. Glad you're along. Down on the sidelines, it'll be John Pearson, Mike McGivern, and Carol Kane. We're just about set for tonight's ball game, but first, the United States Army Color Guard is at the middle of the field in the playing of our national anthem.
Please rise as we pay tribute to our country by the playing of the national anthem.
City Conference football tonight from Custer Stadium. A big matchup here, Terry. King and Riverside tonight.
Add to it that it's King's homecoming. Huge crowd lined up trying to get into the game. They had the parade before the game. Quite the atmosphere.
Let's head to our Heiser Automotive Group keys to the ball game tonight. We'll start first for the Riverside Tigers.
Well, Riverside needs to control Milwaukee Kings quarterback Nolan Dixon. He's coming back from turf toe. They need to take care of that. They need to also utilize their RPO schemes very well. That's a key to making their offense go. And then they need to continue to capitalize on kick returns. So far this year, they've returned 4 punts or kickoffs for touchdowns.
And for Rufus King tonight, what do the Generals need to do?
Well, they want to run the ball inside, control that clock. Their pass defense has to improve. They've given up quite a few big gainers, and then they have to react well to Riverside's speed. It's one thing to practice against your scout team, and then you see them in person, whole different thing.
Heiser Automotive Group, Thursday Night Lights, keys to the ball game tonight. Tonight's your night. Rainy conditions here. We've had a shower move through here just prior to kickoff tonight. Turf field, so going to be a little bit slick. Ball's going to be slick tonight. Ball security going to be key for two teams that like to run the ball.
Right. It's another one of the fields that MPS has renovated and has done an outstanding job. Helps take the elements out of the game a little bit.
Here's our coin flip before the contest tonight. Cal Stanky is our referee. It's his crew tonight. And King winning the toss defers to the second half. Riverside will receive the football. They'll defend the south goal to our right. King will defend the north goal to our left here tonight. The King in blue, Generals in blue, Riverside Tigers in the white jerseys tonight. We mentioned Cal Stanky is our official tonight, our head referee. Our umpire is Chuck Runge. Mike Lane is our linesman, the line judge Arnie Bryson, and the back judge Roger Porter. The ever-dangerous Corey White standing deep along with Amon Williams. White has returned an 85-yard kickoff for a touchdown back earlier this year. It's going to be Dotson that will do the kicking here for King. Again, a reminder, Heiser Automotive Group's Thursday Night Lights presented by U.S. Cellular, available streaming live online. All you need to do is log on to my24milwaukee.com and click on the Thursday Night Light link. And the opening kick It's going to go to Williams. Williams up the middle of the 25 with a seam. Williams out to the 39-yard line. 24-yard return out to the 39-yard line. Good field position for Riverside. Edward Rogers on special teams, able to get down and make the tackle.
Yeah, Riverside's kick return game this year has been outstanding, and you have two athletes like Corey White and Amon Williams to return the ball. It really gets you into good field position.
Offensively for the team, for the Tigers, I should say, Jahari Clark at quarterback. Always a danger, three-way threat there. Emil Jackson and Jameer Hayes in the backfield. They'll run it tight here on 1st and 10 from the 39. And they'll hand it off Emil Jackson. Jackson with a good surge out across the 42, maybe the 43-yard line, brought down by Tajon Johnson, the all-conference player at end for King.
Yeah, offensive coordinator Chris Cummings for Riverside said they want to try to just blast that ball. Then that sets up their outside speed game.
Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Movement up front before the snap. Looked like the tight end here on the near side. Safante Collier came out of his stance. He lined up in a 3-point stance and then stood up.
And the King defender was right there to point that out to the official.
Full start, offense, 5 yards. It will remain 2nd down.
Safante Collier, the guilty party, erases that 4-yard gain. Will make it a 2nd and 11. They'll toss it. Sykes getting the edge across the 40. Got those yards right back out to the 43-yard line. Chris Sykes, his first carry tonight. K. Ross, the free safety, in there to make the stop for King.
Yeah, Sykes in his last 2 years has played a little bit of everything. He's been a quarterback, he's been a running back, he's been a wide receiver at both the flanker and split end position.
Well, our first critical 3rd down of the night, 3rd down and 7 from the 43. They'll go option. Clark, the quarterback, stops short of the 1st down. Trying to run it up the middle. Kendrick Gibson, the nose tackle, recovering to make the stop for the Generals. One more look.
There's where that 5-yard penalty really takes you out of your rhythm.
They're going to line up as if they're going to go for it here on 4th and 1. They need the 49 for the 1st down. They'll hand it off. 1st down and then some for Emil Jackson into King territory. Wrestled down at the General 44-yard line. Tayshawn Price, the linebacker, there to make the stop. And that's our initial 1st down tonight.
Yeah, you can see Jackson following his blocking. Course of the year, he's gotten over 600 yards and 5 touchdowns.
1st downs this quarter brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1st and 10 from the King 44. First pass here of the game. That's going to go as a sack. Rashad Shabazz, in only his 2nd game back, able to make a sack and a statement for that General defense.
Right, right before the summer, he was involved in a car accident, and it's taken this long for him to recover. Last year, he was Player of the Year in that Blackburn division on defense and 1st team all-conference.
A loss all the way back to the Tiger 46-yard line. We'll set up a 2nd and 21 here for the Tigers. Here you're going to look at Jahari Clark, the quarterback. Honorable mention all-conference a year ago. Going to fake it. Keep it himself, going over the left side. Will take it back across midfield into King territory before he is wrestled down there. Looked like it was Shabazz again in on the stop, who just had that sack.
Yeah, so far Riverside's a little trouble keeping ahead of the chains. It's kind of frustrating their offense, but you can see they have a number of athletes who are really threats to break it loose.
2nd, 3rd down of this drive for Riverside. 3rd and 15 from the King 49.
Well, the first time in a passing situation we saw King find a way to help their pass defense, they sacked the quarterback.
Tenajaro, the backup quarterback, in there now as an end here on the near side. Clark will dump it out, incomplete, short hopping the receiver. intended for Emil Jackson out of the backfield. Would have been well short of the first down had he made the catch. 4th down here for the Tigers, and it appears they will punt.
Chris Sykes, who's the punter for Riverside, another outstanding athlete. Probably a little early in the game for them considering doing a fake, but always a possibility.
Looks like it'll be Javon Bird standing deep inside his own 30. It's going to be a fake, going to try and run the edge, and they're going to pull him down back at the line of scrimmage right around the 49-yard line. You called it, Coach. You had it set up. Thought it might be a fake with Chris Sykes back there. He tried to fake it, rushing off that right end, but the Generals responded.
Well, Tom Wozniak, the head coach, is also the defensive coordinator, and no doubt he told his guys, you be sure to watch what happens. Don't start peeling back for a return too soon.
Let's head back down to the sideline, our first visit with Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, here with Carol Kane. CW18, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, what's going on?
You know what, we have such great programming coming up in CW18. Obviously, we've got All-American, which is going to preview on October 10th, and that's all about high school football, but we're really excited about the girls. And the girls being October 14th, it's going to be Supergirl and Charmed, and it's all about superpowers. So my question for you is going to be, at halftime, I need to know what your superpower is, because we've got a great clip coming up at halftime.
I'd be a lot taller and better looking. Boys, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Great to have Carol Kane on board tonight. No gain on the play. Kai Ross, first carry of the game, stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they taxied their one tackle over to try to get a little advantage to that right side. Riverside reacted very well.
Slot left and a slot right, 4 receivers going out. Single back is Ross. He'll shift positions here with the quarterback, Nolan Dixon. Man in motion to the near side is Dan Talley. And again, they'll try up the middle, and again, a stout Tiger defense there for a short gain. Montrell Rash, the defensive end, getting in there to make the stop.
Important for Riverside to react well. You gave them a little momentum by getting stopped in the fake kick, but so far the defense has held up.
Scrambling out of the pocket is Nolan Dixon. Gets it off here near side, and it's caught near the first down. Diving grab by Dion Talley. The 5'6" junior flanker, going to be close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it. Be shy of the first down by about a yard. They need the 43 for the first down. One more look. Good pressure that time. Lamonta King, the defensive end, getting free in the backfield that time to chase Nolan Dixon out of the pocket. 4th and 1 from the 44. Ross, second effort, got the first down. Bounced off the first tackle. He was able to take that momentum forward. Tyler Bradley, the inside linebacker, finally got him down. Just enough room there for the 5'9" junior. Find a crease in that line.
Yeah, they made that by about half a yard. Got enough of a surge to get the Riverside defensive line off the ball.
Mike, what do you have for us?
Hey guys, defensive coordinator here at Rufus King talking about double fullback look that Riverside's running and how they're gonna defend that. Not a look that they've seen very often this year, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Ross, left side edge. Ross down the far sideline. Will get out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. 20-yard run for Kai Ross. And a Gruber Law Office's first down. Tyrell Hazelwood finally chased him down.
Yeah, their leading rusher so far this year. Last year, first team all-conference selection, rushed for over 700 yards, scored 7 TDs.
Mark him at the 23-yard line. Coming up later tonight, we'll highlight an important point in the game as our watershed moment. That feature being brought to you by Sweetwater, Southeast Wisconsin Watersheds Trust. 1st and 10, King. Riverside 23-yard line. Ross again trying to go over the middle. Nothing there. Perez and Rash both in on that stop. The interior defensive lineman for Riverside.
Yeah, Marquell Rash. He's also got his brother Montrell Rash on the team, junior and a senior. Both play better than their weight. They're a little light, but they're both very hard-nosed kids, according to Coach Wagner.
Tackled himself right out of his shoe. That's how hard he hits. Gain of 1, second down, 9. Dixon again flushed out of the pocket, throwing on the run, and it's going to go incomplete. Intended for Mike Dupree, the flanker, the junior out there. Was well covered on the play by Daquan Dalton, the strong safety.
Yeah, Dupree is kind of a speedster, and I wonder how much Nolan Dixon's turf toe is kind of affecting him on his rollout in terms of getting a well-thrown pass.
Well, 3rd and long here for the Generals from the Riverside 22. Their first possession tonight. They're able to stop the Tigers. Went for a fake punt. We're able to stop him. The toss to Ross, and not much there with a penalty marker in the wake.
I don't know if they're going to call from way back deep, block in the back. Something we could see up here. See if that's what the official makes as the call.
Cal Stanky is our referee.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. Block in the back, player 54. Holding, player 2.
Both fouls going against the Generals offensively. Let's see if we can get a look at it. There's the block in the back. That was Mike Dupree. Threw that block in the back. Again, the holding call was the call that they stepped off from the spot of the foul. So we'll move it back to the 36-yard line. Bring up a 3rd and 23 here for the Generals. Dixon under pressure, lets it go, airs it out, looking for the freshman, Jerry Cross. Pass was incomplete. Marquell Rash providing the pressure on Dixon.
Yeah, offensive coordinator Anthony Dowry said this Jerry Cross, really tremendous potential as a freshman. 6'4", 200, excellent range, just a little bit overthrown.
Well covered on that play too by Terrell Hazelwood. So 4th down here for King. Simon Engelbrecht, a junior, in to do the punting. Corey White with 2 punt returns for a touchdown this year. Standing at the 10-yard line. High snap, low end-over-end kick. It will roll dead at the Riverside 11-yard line. 33-yard punt. We'll take a timeout. Just over 5 minutes to go here in our first quarter from Custer Stadium in Milwaukee. Richardson Division tonight. Riverside and King scoreless. Our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Midway through our first quarter, a scoreless first quarter here on Milwaukee's north side. Riverside and Rufus King. Big battle of undefeateds here in the Richardson Division. See the Miami-Dade, Florida Police Department's Crime Scene Investigations Unit in action. As they solve crimes that other departments can't, don't miss CSI Miami tomorrow night at 7 on My 24. From the 11-yard line, they'll try far side with some running room and closed off in a hurry. Emil Jackson on the carry that time. It was Dwayne Langhauer who got there defensively for the Generals.
Yeah, you saw Emil's speed as he got around that edge. Already run for over 600 yards so far this season.
Pickup of 7, second down 3. Once again to the sideline we go, and Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, offensive coordinator here at Rufus King talking a little bit about making sure we knock off the penalties, continue the drive, and he's talking to his offensive line about holding their blocks a little bit longer to give them a seam. I think their offensive line heard him today.
Jahari Clark with a nice 16-yard burst out to the 34-yard line, picks up another Gruber Law Office's first down as we take a look at the draw.
Yeah, faked that little bit of that speed sweep, a little bit of the option, read option. Jahari kept the ball. Very good gain.
First and 10 at the 32-yard line. Again, the light rain continues to fall here at Custer Stadium. Again on the keep is Clark. This time the King defense right there for a short gain. Gain of 2 out to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, even though the Riverside doesn't make its living throwing the ball, I'm pretty sure with this RPO offense, they're going to have Clark trying to read now as they're reacting to the run. Are they going to be able to shake somebody loose to throw a pass to?
They'll keep Jackson in the backfield along with Hayes. This time it's Hayes, his first carry, trying the left side. Gets it out across the 35, maybe the 36-yard line with forward progress. Tajon Johnson in there on the stop for the Generals.
You can see that they kind of spread that ball around. So far in the season, Riverside has run for almost 1,500 yards, only passed for a shade over 500, so you can see what they favor.
Stay tuned. At the end of the game tonight, we'll highlight our player of the game. That's brought to you by the United States Army, Army Strong. Another critical third down, 3rd and 3 with penalty flags before the snap.
Dead ball, false start, offense.
Another false start penalty, second one on the Riverside offense tonight.
Yeah, both teams have hampered their offense so far by their penalties. So I don't know whether it's the moment, big game. They know what's on the line. Just got to relax, settle in.
3rd and short becomes 3rd and long. 3rd and 8 here with 2:50 to go in a scoreless first quarter. This time they'll hand it off to Sykes. Sykes, big hole. Sykes across midfield and pulled down at the 29-yard line. Kai Ross, who doubles up as the free safety, chased down Sykes after a huge gain down to the King 28-yard line.
Yeah, you can see his speed on display here, a little counter action. Sykes also a track athlete, and that certainly manifested itself on that run.
40-yard pickup and a first down for Riverside. And they'll try the inside. Again, King right there with a penalty marker on the tackle. May have a face mask in there. Emil Jackson on the carry. And this is Coach Wagner's MO, just try and keep pounding that ball between the tackles.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. Normally 15 yards, will go half the distance to the goal. First down.
Kind of got into a rugby scrum there, and someone inadvertently grabs a mask.
So 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Move it down to the 16-yard line, it looks like here for Riverside. Actually inside the 15, they'll mark it at the 13. So penalties costly to King, took them out of their drive earlier. Now this one on defense adds 15 more. 1st and 10, Tigers. Clark on the draw, trying to go up the middle. And good stop there. Quentin Davis, I believe, was in on that stop. You're right. Gain of about 4, maybe. 2nd down, 6. Just inside the 10-yard line.
You can see how pounding that middle also opens up that speed to the outside. If you all start to commit too soon, going to give that ball.
2nd down, 6 from the 9. Jackson around the right side. Jackson inside the 5. Going to be stopped out of bounds, short of the pylon at the 2. 7-yard run for Emil Jackson to the 2-yard line. Rashad Shabazz, the inside linebacker, making the tackle.
You can see with Jackson, Hayes, Sykes, Clark, a variety of backs from which to choose.
There's that muddle huddle we see from time to time out of Coach Wagner. They get to the line and go. Emil Jackson into the end zone. Touchdown, Riverside. 6th touchdown of the year for the junior. And the Tigers get on the board first. And thanks to that Chris Sykes 40-yard run, Riverside in business here late in the first quarter.
Yeah, they've got seniors anchoring that offensive line at either end at the tackles, and then a sophomore and 2 juniors right in the middle. And they're getting a nice push.
So instead of kicking, they will go for 2 here. Jahari Clark wants to throw. Dumps it back over the middle. Catch is made. No, he dropped it. He had it in his breadbasket, could not wrap it up. Tenajaro, I believe, was the intended target. No, check that. Safante Collier, the tight end. Let's take a look here at that 2-point attempt. Never had control of it.
Had control.
Here's our touchdown run. And right up the middle.
Good push by Ezekiel Simmons at the guard. Junior Jalen West at center. Another junior, Robert Nora, a little 5'9", 242-pound sophomore who's also a wrestler. And they got that nice surge. Out on the outside, Elijah Leonard at the right tackle. Pierce Gray at the left.
75-yard drive, 40 of them by Chris Sykes in the middle of that drive. Put them deep into King territory. Jackson, the 2-yard touchdown run. Special thanks to Dan for providing wonderful food tonight. Once again, for our Thursday Night Lights staff and crew. DanMKE.com for their complete menu and delivery options. Dupree and Talley. It's an onside kick that will come short. And knee goes down at the 34-yard line. Generals will take over near the 35-yard line. Dwayne Langauer on special teams able to cover that one up.
Now, both coaches wish that their kicking game was a little more efficient. Matter of fact, King does not go with field goals or extra points. And I don't know whether that figured into Pat Wagner's decision to maybe go for 2, trying to offset what might happen if King scores a touchdown and also goes for 2.
Well, King trailing for the first time tonight. Let's see how they respond. Nolan Dixon checking that play sheet out on his wristband. He'll have Kai Ross in the backfield. In motion is Talley. Ross, nothing. Wrestled down almost immediately as he hit the line of scrimmage. Richard James, we saw him in our pregame tonight, featured him, first team all-conference, honorable mention all-state a season ago.
With a 3.5 GPAs, drawing interest not only as a football player but as a student from a lot of D2 and D3 schools.
No gain on the play, second down 10 from their own 35-yard line. Gonna try option, and Riverside forces the ball out. It's loose at the 30-yard line, and Tigers recover. Great job knocking that ball away from Nolan Dixon. He had it down below his waist. Right there was Markrell Rash. Able to take it away. We get another look.
Waited, he didn't commit too soon. Get a couple of his teammates to fly up and help with that.
It's Rash who came up with it. Nasir Slade, the inside linebacker, was the one that knocked it away.
Have to see how King reacts to this setback so that they don't find themselves playing catch-up against a very fine Riverside offense.
Mike, what are you hearing down there?
So, boys, Coach Waz talking to the defense. He said, guys, relax. Everything we talked about and watched on film they're doing, we just need to be a little bit tougher. And let's make sure we get to the quarterback, put him down on the carpet, make sure we're tackled a little bit better, and we'll be just fine. I like watching Waz coach.
And nothing gets past Waz. He's not too excited. He's been around this rodeo a couple of times. That's Izzy Tenajaro at quarterback in there. We thought we'd see him a little bit tonight. Tajon Johnson there to make the stop.
Yeah, they've been, sharing time, as well as Jahari Clark's brother, Ohari Clark. He's also seen some time at quarterback. So they've got a variety of folks they shuffle in at that quarterback position.
Riverside might just keep it in the huddle here and run out this first quarter clock, which it appears they will do. 6-0 Riverside. 2-yard touchdown run by Emil Jackson. 2-point conversion fell short. That's where we'll start our second quarter. Riverside's ball when we come back. Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights presented by U.S. Cellular. Riverside Tigers trying to capitalize on a fumble recovery. Already lead it 6-0 in the rain here at Custer Stadium in Milwaukee. John Weiser and Terry Kelly with you. Mike McGivern, John Pearson, Carol Kane on the sidelines. On the keep, Tenagero able to get near the sideline here, the 25. There is a penalty marker down. Tajon Johnson made the stop. This one's coming back for a holding call.
Yeah, noticing we're not seeing Rashad Shabazz in at linebacker for Rufus King right now. A young man who was returning after a car accident late last spring. And I think his presence is sorely missed right now.
Another big penalty here against Riverside. Boy, they've cost themselves here on their first drive tonight. Took them out of a couple of key 3rd and short. Izzy Tenagero will stay in at quarterback. 4 receivers going out. Sykes in motion. They'll fake the toss to Sykes. Come back on the inside handoff. Not much there. Cuts it back to the outside and gets put down right back at the line of scrimmage. Javon Bird in there at free safety for King. Able to make the wrap up there.
And guess who popped into play right now? Here's number 5, Rashad Shabazz. Had the initial hit on him, but you better make doggone sure that you wrap up.
That's Corey White, his first carry out of the backfield here.
Yeah, typically on defense, but once again, another one of those athletes that can play both sides of the ball.
Third and long. Sykes down to the 35-yard line, just a 3-yard pickup. Brought down again by Shabazz. So 4th down here, Riverside. I think about maybe a little pooch punt here, Coach, or you?
Neither of these teams like to do a lot of kicking, and I so far, King is not playing that poorly on defense. They've had a couple runs gotten to the outside and the one run by Sykes. But, it's interesting to get inside the offensive coordinator Chris Cummings' mind right now, see what he's going to dial up here.
Here you see Pat Wagner out there talking with his offense, longtime coach here at Riverside, and we talk about their early schedule. They darn near got Pewaukee in week 1, losing to the Pirates 34-31, and then they've been on a roll since.
Yeah, they actually had the lead against Pewaukee, and Pewaukee stormed back, and so far, they've defeated Bayview, Washington, Marshall, Reagan, and Hamilton, and so they're in the playoffs. They know that already.
Set it down to John Pearson.
All right. Again, one of the great parts of this job is the sponsors are absolutely electrifying. Lieutenant Patricia Williams of the Salvation Army is with us tonight. And let's talk about this time of year. You're headed to the part we always think about with the Red Kettle, but you guys never stop giving to our community.
We never stop, hopefully. We right now we're doing fundraisers and stuff for the food banks. They got
We're walking up, but keep talking.
They have the cans all over the school here to help with our 2 new food banks. We have one at the West Court at 1645 North 25th Street and one at the Cold Spring Court, 2900 Cold Spring Road in Greenfield, Wisconsin. We just want to help provide food for the community. And now we're getting ready to start our Christmas season. So right now we're getting ready to have toy shops. So we start October the 15th through December the 12th, where we will start helping the community who can't afford to buy Christmas gifts for their kids. So, and then again, we start our kettles where you'll see the bell ringers out. And if you know anyone that needs a job or any groups that want to come out and volunteer and help to meet our goals to help all year round, the Salvation Army will gladly take your help.
All right, Patricia doesn't even need me, guys. She just rattled everything off. Look for the Salvation Army everywhere you go if you want to do the most good.
John and Patricia, thank you so much. King takes over on downs on the incomplete pass. And on the run, that is Maurice Wallace in there now at quarterback, senior for King.
Yeah, he was filling in this season when Nolan Dixon was out with that turf toe.
6'2", 190, has a touchdown pass to his credit earlier this season.
And also a pretty fair runner.
Gets set with their backfield here with Justin Colbert and Kai Ross. 2nd and 5. He's going to keep it. They get pulled down short of the first down. Looked like that was Daquan Dalton in on the stop defensively for Riverside. 3rd and 1 facing the Generals, just shy of their own 45-yard line.
That's part of that inside power game that Coach Wozniak said they wanted to do. Anthony Dowry, their offensive coordinator, said they needed to make that go.
Critical 3rd down here for King. Trying to rebound. Turned Riverside away after the fumble. 3rd and 1 from their own 44. Ross, first down and then some. Out to the 48, a penalty marker into the pile. Ross got the first down. Just a simple dive up the middle. We'll have to check out the penalty flag here.
Holding offense, 10 yards from where it occurred. Repeat 3rd down.
Another costly penalty here against King. Holding call on the inside. Tom Wozniak with the baseball cap on and the headset. That expression tells you what it feels like to get shot in the foot when your team commits a penalty on a made first down.
Yeah. Offensive coordinator Anthony Dowry was right next to him, not looking too happy either.
Another 3rd and long here. They will hand it off. Not much there at all for Kai Ross. They have bottled Ross up here throughout much of this first half.
Yeah, Riverside, has been noted over the years of having some excellent defensive players. And I think this was a real challenge that was put to them. And Craig Klum, their defensive coordinator, has to be happy with what he's seen so far.
Richard James credited with that tackle, bringing up a 4th down. 2nd time tonight, the Generals will punt. The always dangerous Corey White. 2 touchdowns returned already this year. That one's blocked. And it's being picked up here on the near side. Lamonta King inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. Lamonta King on the recovery. Tyrell Hazelwood got the block. One more look. Almost got it in.
Defensive end's dream.
Injury timeout here. One of the King players in on that tackle. Injured inside the 5-yard line. So 2 big takeaways tonight by the Riverside defense. They get the fumble, and now the block punt recovered by King, returned inside the 5-yard line.
Right, the kicking woes that have plagued King over the year, kind of rearing their ugly head tonight again.
Our Salvation Army doing the most good feature highlights Lieutenant Patricia Williams of the Salvation Army. Again, reminding us all that we can help in doing the most good by donating Take advantage of 2 opportunities. Drop off non-perishable food items in the Salvation Army barrel at any of our Thursday Night Light game locations, or text TNL to 41444 and it will take you to the online donation page. First and goal, Riverside from the 2, dropping the snap. Clark able to pick it up. Got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Jahari Clark, the quick hands that time to pick up the miscue.
You know, both teams moving forward, I think they're going to say to themselves, okay, we have to find a kicker or we have to work more on our kicking game, because eventually that's going to come back and bite us.
Second and goal. Ball at the 2-yard line. Clark cuts to the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. Jahari Clark. Rushing touchdown for their senior quarterback. Well, he planted that nice cut there. Got the linebacker and the corner all going to the far side.
Yeah, he planted that outside foot, cut right up, took it into the end zone.
Again, they will try for 2 here. They were unsuccessful on their first touchdown. Now we got a penalty marker. Some movement up front. And it's a false start penalty. 3rd one tonight on Riverside. Now it will make this 2-point conversion a little more challenging here for the Tigers.
Some coaches actually think maybe in a way that helps you, it opens up a little bit more space if you want to try to run some pass patterns to get that in. So we'll have to see what they've dialed up.
Sykes is lined up in a slot here near side with Hooker. They'll toss it to Sykes on the end around. Sykes trying to get the edge. Good recovery out of that secondary. Able to slash his way inside and make that stop. That was Javon Bird who flew in there, taking Sykes short of the goal line for the 2-point conversion.
See it on the replay here. Excellent job.
So Bird flying in there for that tackle.
Coach
12-0.
Coach Pearson will probably decide to pull that one in.
So following that blocked punt recovery down to the 2, 3 plays. Clark on the touchdown run. Set down to the sideline and Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, on the Riverside sideline, Coach Wagner said, look, I'm getting a little tired of these penalties, knock it off. Second, they think the offensive line's starting to take over in this game. They feel like they can go inside, and then they'll hit them quick on the outside. Watch them, next time they get the ball, you'll see them trying to hit a gap sometime in the first 2 or 3 plays, boys.
All season long, we'll have the opportunity to talk with our sponsors, coaches, and other guests down on the sidelines. Mike's Sideline Reports brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Short kickoff. King's going to go after it, and that ball's going to squirt to the sideline and make its way out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Danger there.
Yeah, Dion Talley couldn't quite get that ball. It was bouncing around. It's a little wet tonight. Can see the kick.
They're lucky that was not their 3rd turnover of the night. So Generals will take over at their own 19-yard line. 7:02 to go here in the first half, trailing Riverside 12-0. Again, King coming in has won the last 6 matchups between these 2 teams.
I'm sure that's something they've been reminded of by their coaching staff.
Again, this is Wallace in at quarterback. He'll take the draw. Pick up a couple out to the 21-yard line. Reese Wallace. Nolan Dixon started, but the last 2 drives now, as Dixon will come in now. Wallace is going to stay in as a split end here. He'll come here to the near side. He'll line up along with Deion Talley. Nolan Dixon. Feed it out here to the outside. Get it in space. Dupree with some room. And Dupree shouldered out of bounds at the 36-yard line. 14-yard pickup on the quick pitch that time. Amon Williams in on the stop.
Yeah, a little earlier this year, Amon Williams in one game had 3 defensive touchdowns. Fumble recovery, interception, and a kick block.
That's how you get your offense going. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers in space.
First and 10 on the 36-yard line.
14-yard pickup and a first down. This quarter brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics. Dixon will keep it out to the 38. Gain of 2. Brought down by Tyler Bradley.
At Riverside right now kind of playing what we would call a 4-2-5. It's kind of variation of the 3-3-5, that stack defense, trying to get something that they feel can control that line of scrimmage.
Second down, 8 from the 38. Talley will go in motion. Line up as the second slot on that right side. The pitch to Ross. Ross, nowhere to go. Excellent open field tackle. As taking him down, Daquan Dalton, the strong safety, was actually coming on a blitz, Terry, and recovered
Right,
to make the play.
Well-timed blitz, came at just the right time. Wrapped him up.
Be a loss back to the 20, make it the 31-yard line. Brings up a 3rd and 15. 3 receivers here to the near side for the Generals. Dixon, the old hitch and go. Going to the far sideline and no one there. Confusion between Talley and Wallace that time as to who is going to be the deep receiver on the hitch and go.
Yeah, and once again, King is more accustomed to trying to run the ball than throw. And you can see that showing up, just trying to get your timing put together.
3rd time tonight, Generals will be forced to punt. Simon Engelbrecht does the punting. He had the last one blocked. This one off the side of his foot once again. Takes a general roll inside the 45 to the Riverside 43, which will take us to our commercial break. 12-0 Riverside Tigers on top of the Rufus King Generals. Richardson Division at stake. Our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights. Riverside on top of Rufus King, 12-0 here at Custer Stadium on a rainy Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights. When a star high school football player from South Carolina recruited for Beverly Hills High School, 2 separate worlds collide. It's All-American. That starts October 10th on Milwaukee's CW18. Speaking of CW18, good to have Carol Kane here tonight. On the far side, that's Emil Jackson with a late penalty marker after he was tackled out of bounds. Well beyond the boundary, Javon Bird washed him out of bounds. Officials will sort this one out, but well beyond the boundary that time.
Yeah, once again, Emil got to the outside, really, flew down that sideline.
Uncharacteristic mistakes here by what is normally a well-disciplined
2 fouls
King
occurred
squad.
at the same time. We had holding on offense, which is a live ball foul. We'll go 10 yards back from the spot of the foul at the 49. Then we had a personal foul, late hit on the defense. We'll go back 15 yards from that since that is dead ball. We enforce
Offsetting
both.
penalties.
So offsetting penalties here on the holding call against Riverside. So let's see here now. Was one a dead ball though?
I wonder if the
So they enforced both penalties here because the personal foul was the dead ball. They'll spot it at the 46-yard line of the Generals. First down here for Riverside. Clark on the late pitch. Nothing doing. Ball out inside the 35. And King's going to cover it up. There to cover, Kendrick Gibson. I think we got another penalty flag as well. Let's take a look. Adon Mitchell with the tackle and the strip. The recovery by Kendrick Gibson. Well, let's check out. There was a flag on the play.
well, I think Cal Stanky is saying the runner was down and that there wasn't a fumble. He was down at that spot.
Forward progress, ruled stopped at the 47. There was no fumble. Knee was down. Riverside retains the ball. Second down.
So bring up second down for Riverside. Loss back to the 48-yard line. So a loss of 8 on the play. They will hand it off. This is Jackson again. Back across midfield to the General 49. Take one more look here, looking for that penalty. Was he down? Wow. Tough to tell if the knee was down because he landed on top of the defender who made the tackle.
Yeah, Adon Mitchell had flown up to make that tackle.
Forward progress. Stop there. Okay. Interesting call. 3rd and 13. Inside. Big hole. Hayes. Jameer Hayes inside the 35 down to the 32-yard line. 17-yard run by Hayes. Javon Bird with the stop.
You know, we had mentioned earlier tonight how they've got so many different backs that are a threat, and they utilize all of them.
Another first down brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics. 3.5 minutes to go here in this first half. It's been all Riverside. With an assist from King. Fumble, block punt. 12-0 lead. Again, they'll go to Hayes. Again, breaking tackles. Hayes down to the 19-yard line. 13 more for Hayes. Dotson on the stop.
You know, I'm sure Coach Wozniak wants to get out of this half not having to be three scores behind, trying to come back against Riverside.
Boy, he looks great running that football. Jameer Hayes, 5'9", 170. Coach, he's got that runner's lean the minute he gets that ball.
Right, he's got 3 touchdowns on the season. They've really spread the wealth around. You know, they've got one guy with 5, another guy with 3, another guy with 4. So they've got a number of guys who can threaten you.
Jackson and Hayes set the backfield. Clark with the snap. Jackson weaving his way down the far sideline, down to the 13-yard line. Again, Bird there to make the stop for the Generals.
Not sure if we'll get a replay of this, but a very nice trap block helped set that up. It made it look like it was going to the right, and he ran it all the way back to the left.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. And now a defensive timeout taken by King here, trying to settle the troops, is Coach Wozniak.
Right, I mean, here you are, you've got a little over 2 minutes left to go. You're clawing, try to hang on.
Now this week on Faith in the Zone, Rob Vaughn from the Christian Wrestling Federation will join Mike McGivern and Pastor Ken Keltner to discuss his faith and how has it affected his life professionally and personally. Faith in the Zone. That's this Sunday 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. on Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan. In the huddle with Coach Wozniak. And again, takes an awful lot to get him flustered. Wozniak's been around the block a couple of times here. And it's his calming presence, I think, on this Kings sideline right now that's helping to settle this team.
Yeah, Coach Wozniak, has nothing but good things to say about the kids on his team. Also a longtime baseball coach at King. And, I'm sure he's exhorting them, okay, we got to find a way to put this, to a stop right now.
2nd and 4 from the 13. Penalty flags before the snap.
Defense.
King in the neutral zone.
First down.
And a lead to a first down. That'll put more gray in Wozniak's beard. I mean, you just came out of a timeout. What did you just tell them? Relax, get set, watch the ball, stay set in your stance.
But now you've set them up, 1st and goal.
So 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Clark will keep it. Racing to that far pylon, and he'll get in. Touchdown, Riverside. Jahari Clark, the senior quarterback, able to run it in from 8 yards out, and Riverside adds to their lead. It's now 18-0 Tigers.
Last year we had a chance to see Jahari Clark in action against Bayview. We were impressed with, what a fine athlete he was. And that was a game where they didn't have their starting center and had to play a freshman, and it really had an impact on how the game was played.
Again, they will go for 2 as they have each of the first 2 trips into the end zone. Clark under center. The toss. Jackson. 2-point conversion. 20-0 Riverside on top of King.
Had some excellent blocking out in front of him. We get to see Savante Callier block on the defensive back.
One more look at the touchdown, and he did just get in. Got tackled at the pylon as he and Shabazz hit the goal line at the same time. A stunned near sideline here. It is King's homecoming weekend. And despite the weather, a good-sized crowd for both teams.
Both
here tonight.
sides. There's still some folks working their way in now. We know that King sideline has got a nice crowd, and you can see across the way Riverside brought their fans with them as well.
Again, the Richardson division, both teams 4-0 in the Richardson division with 1 week of divisional play left, and then the 9th week will be the crossover with Blackburn for the true city conference title. That kick will go all the way into the end zone for the touchback. So with just under 2 minutes to play, Generals will have it at their 20-yard line, 2 timeouts at their disposal.
Kind of an ironic way this could turn out. If Riverside goes on to win this game, more than likely they would meet Reagan High School, whom they've already played, but right now they're ahead in the Blackburn division.
And it'll be between Reagan and Vincent in that division, depending on what happens this week. King wants to throw here from their own 20. Intercepted! Picked off here on the near side. Tyler Bradley, reserve inside linebacker, 4th turnover of this half by the King offense. And again, going with the pass. Riverside can make a statement here late. We take one more look. Dixon double clutched under through Dupree right in the hands of Bradley, the inside linebacker.
Last thing you needed to do right at that point in the game.
Surprising they went to the air. I mean, they try and get the ball, maybe a toss or something, go wide.
I think sometimes you get in your mind, we're behind by 3 scores. We got to find some way to put points on the board.
There was a penalty on King, declined by Riverside, so the Tigers now can step on it here. Tenagero now at quarterback. Gibson there to make the tackle. Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. Again, Riverside with 2 timeouts should they need them.
Yeah, Kendrick Gibson, he's 5'3", 370 pounds, but Coach Wozniak said he just creates havoc in there because he flies around.
Missed snap there to Tenagero. This time he gets it, takes it inside the 5, down to the 4. Again, the ideal time here for Coach Wagner is if he can get this down under 20 seconds and somehow find the end zone.
Right, and not have to bother to kick off or anything.
Gain of 6 on the play, sets up 3rd and 2. The toss. Sykes. Touchdown, Riverside. Sykes on the toss. And they capitalize again on the King turnovers.
Sykes, an excellent athlete. Actually, his athleticism in a way gave him some problems. He made it to the state meet last year in track, injured himself, so he didn't get to be seen at many camps this summer.
Good 2nd and 3rd effort that time by Chris Sykes to find the end zone. Pitch it late. Jackson in for 2. Emil Jackson for the 2-point conversion. 28-0 Riverside. A stunner here with 41 seconds to go here in the half.
Yeah, with a little over 3 minutes to go, you said we're behind by 3 scores, and suddenly everything flips.
Scoring points off 3 takeaways tonight. The block, punt, fumble, and the interception. There you see the drive, 20 yards. Sykes, 3-yard touchdown run. RVN Wonders. He's had a couple of nice kicks here. A couple of well-placed short ones. Booted one back for a touchback last time. Again, a short kick, going to be recovered by Riverside. A low liner and hit the front line. Riverside recovers.
Almost want to see that on replay to see if that was on purpose or by accident.
Might have been Hazelwood. Looked like the end on that far side, Bird got a hand on it, tried to field it low. It deflected off of him. And it was recovered. It was recovered by 57.
Yeah, number 51, RVN Wonders, kind of a throwback to Lou the Toe Groza. Don't find a lot of linemen. I'm not sure whether there was lightning, and that's why they're clearing both teams.
I'm not sure either. Either way, the officials have stopped play here and they have cleared the field. Coach Wagner going to come out, wants to know what's going on here. He might just send the teams in the locker room for halftime here. Cal Stanky, he was going to try and communicate something here to the King staff.
Well, if it was lightning by rule, it has to be 30 minutes before you can resume play. They want to make sure there's nothing in the area.
So we are going to go to halftime here. We're going to get the team off the field. We'll head to halftime here at Custer Stadium. Riverside 28, the King Generals nothing. Halftime here at Custer. We'll take a break. Our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Welcome back to our halftime report here on Heiser Automotive Group's Thursday Night Lights, presented by U.S. Cellular. It's been all Riverside tonight. They capitalize on 3 takeaways tonight, and they lead it by a score of 28-0. Well, tonight we'd like to highlight some special student athletes. We're proud to present this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week nominees. This week's nominee from Riverside University High School is Jose Cervantes. Jose competes in soccer and carries a 4.24 GPA. He's ranked first in his class and is on the principal's honor roll. Jose was selected first team all-conference last season and is currently the team's scoring leader. Jose participates in the advanced placement and Project Lead the Way and STEM programs. He's also a member of the bilingual program. And this week's nominee from Rufus King is Mia Rimmer. He is a 4-year athlete, varsity competitor in swimming, and carries a 3.9 GPA, member of the National Honor Society, Model UN, and Latin Honor Roll. He has been chosen captain of the swim team twice and placed second in the city conference in the 200 and the 500 freestyle events. Again, congratulations to this week's Thursday Night Lights Scholar Athlete nominees here on My 24. 28-0 Riverside, and they took advantage of some King mistakes, Terry, and got in the end zone and has put the Generals behind the 8 ball here to start the second half.
And when you look at a Riverside team that has so many playmakers, the last thing you can do is give them extra opportunities to take advantage of their athleticism and speed.
Right now we're going to go to John Pearson, who's had a chance to visit with our good friends at Bryant and Stratton College.
Now here on Heiser Automotive Thursday Night Lights, this is absolutely about opportunity, and one school that is giving a lot of people opportunities, one of our great sponsors, Bryant and Stratton College. Ryan Ratajewski, the Associate Athletic Director, which a few years ago would have been out of the question for that even be a title. Talk about the opportunities that come for local athletes who are looking to extend beyond high school and also look for a great education.
Sure. So yeah, Bryant Stratton College, we just started athletics, junior college in 2016. We're already up to 9 sports. We offer athletic scholarships, being a Division II junior college school. So we do athletic scholarships, but then also academic scholarships.
Definitely look into it is one of the messages, but also it's amazing how quickly there's been success. The women's basketball program, that is one of the more competitive programs in the country, and yet you guys made a big splash already.
Yeah, our women's program, they made it to the national tournament in year 2, which was pretty remarkable. That's essentially making it to like the Sweet 16 for the NCAA tournament. Very successful. I think our women's and men's program, we got a new men's head coach, Matt Makerzak. I think our basketball teams are going to be really something to watch this year.
And talk a little about how somebody can get involved with this, because again, there are people looking for opportunities, they just aren't aware of them. How does somebody find out about what you offer and how to get involved with you?
Sure. So on the athletic side, you can go to bscbobcats.com, learn about currently we got men's and women's soccer and women's volleyball going, basketball starting soon, and then we also have baseball and softball. Starting cross country, women's tennis, and looking at esports for 2019. And then also academically, we've got a great nursing program, healthcare focused, business programs, criminal justice, IT programs for the associate and bachelor's degree levels. That you can go to bryantandstratton.edu.
And when you enter into something nobody's doing, I mean, it's got to be exciting, but also to be like, you could do a lot of things for a living. To see the success so quickly and to see the commitment is there. What's that mean to you? Because, I mean, you wear this everywhere. You wear this little bobcat head.
Sure. Yeah, no, a lot of times I take a step back sometimes and say, wow, we've really accomplished a lot over the last 2.5, 3 years at Bryant and Stratton. And it's great, too, to see student athletes earning their degree here. And then we've gotten a lot of kids going to NAIA schools or NCAA Division I or II schools continuing on to their sport. But a lot of times, too, kids are just like, hey, I got my associate degree in nursing, and I'm, working in the field now as a nurse, but yet I played some, college sports while earning my degree.
All right, I'm supposed to be a borderline journalist, but let me just say, go Bobcats.
There you go.
John and Ryan, thank you so much. 28-0 Riverside on top of King. We'll step out, take a break. More of our halftime from Custer Stadium coming your way after this. And welcome back to our halftime report. Heiser Automotive Group's Thursday Night Lights presented by U.S. Cellular. All Riverside here through one half of play. 28-0 Tigers over the Generals from Rufus King. Once again to the sidelines we go. Mike and Carol.
Hey guys, halftime here at Carroll Kane, CW18. I'm looking forward to the high school show coming up. You keep wanting to talk about the girls show. I want to talk about the high school show.
Well, All-American is going to be great. That's on October 10th, but the girls are on October 14th, and it's all about superpowers. I asked you to think of your superpower, so you'll have to tell me in a little bit. But we have Charmed and we have Supergirl. Charmed, all three women have one specific superpower. You want to see what they look like?
I do.
Let's watch the clip.
Let's go to the clip.
So, Macy, your power is?
I can move stuff with my mind.
Demonstration, please. Impressive. Maggie, what is your power?
I can read minds.
Very well. What number am I thinking of?
8.93 to the power of 6 million.
Lucky guess. Mel.
I can freeze and unfreeze time.
Does that come in handy?
When I want to put funny hats on people, yeah.
I see. And Cara.
Well, I can fly.
Of course.
I run really fast.
Naturally.
Also, I'm crazy strong.
Oh, sure.
I can see through stuff.
Got it.
Basically, nothing can hurt me.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
My eyes shoot laser beams.
Oh, come on.
I can hear stuff from like miles away.
Okay, we get it.
Oh, and I can freeze things just by blowing on them. I can break through walls.
Might be here for a while.
Sundays are for the CW.
Bulletproof.
Man, that looks like a show that I'm not sure I'm going to watch, but I know my wife would watch.
It's going to be a great show. So what's your superpower?
I attract really cute girls.
What the heck?
Look at you, man. Here it is. This is what I do.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I'm speechless too. Yeah, that is the first time. Boys, back to you.
All right, Mike, Carol, thank you very much. 28-0 Riverside on top of King. Time now to post our games to watch, brought to you by the Big 920 WOKY. Some big games going on across the area. Week number 7 of the high school football season. There you go. Waukesha West, Arrowhead, a Classic 8 matchup.
Yeah, they're battling to get into second place in that conference along with Catholic Memorial.
Two big ones in the southeast tomorrow night. Oak Creek takes on Racine Horlick and Franklin against Indian Trail.
Indian Trail pulled a little bit of an upset last week. Franklin's got to be careful not to have the letdown after having won a very tight game with Oak Creek.
And Oak Creek on a bounce back against the undefeated Horlick Rebels.
Right.
And our Big 920 game of the week is Brookfield East against Brookfield Central, a greater Metro Conference showdown. Central trying to bounce back from that loss to Marquette last week.
Yeah, huge rivalry game. Both schools trying to position themselves for the playoffs.
That game on the Big 920 AM or on the iHeart Radio app, keyword the Big 920. 28-0 Riverside on top of King. Back with more of our halftime right after this. Welcome back to our halftime report. Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights presented by U.S. Cellular. Custer Stadium in Milwaukee. Richardson Division Showdown tonight. So far going to Riverside, 28-0 over Rufus King. Time to head to the sideline once again. Our U.S. Army interview. Here with that is John Pearson.
And again, it is so great to have the Army back every year here. We get to kind of the message, we get to put the face on the concept of joining the Army here. And Sergeant George Long joins me now. And simple question, like what interested you in the Army, and has it met or exceeded your expectations?
Well, John, I knew my entire life growing up that I wanted to be a teacher, so I was really into academics. I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro with a bachelor's in history, and then I went into teaching, and I realized it really wasn't quite right for me. I loved academic stuff, but not so much a people person. So I joined the Army basically to switch careers completely. And they gave me 35 Fox, which is intelligence analyst, so it's a very bookish job, which suited my personality perfectly.
Talk a little about getting involved with intelligence, because anybody that knows me knows I know nothing about intelligence. So what did that entail, and kind of how do you work your way up as you're involved with the intelligence portion of the Army?
So the Army collects a lot of information, right? We've got surveillance, we've got human intelligence, signals intelligence, terrain analysis. It's so much raw data that no one can really comprehend it all. So you have to have teams of people making meaningful information out of that data. So intelligence analysts, they sort through everything, and they provide that information to commanders in the form of briefings or written reports. And in order to basically get better, you learn to not only do that, but to teach others. So the second tier would be teaching others your skills.
And you thought you wanted to be a teacher, and now you find yourself doing it here. But the opportunities that the Army brings you, that you know whether you stick with the Army or you go on somewhere else, talk about those skills that you've learned that you know are going to work out no matter what you end up doing.
Oh yeah, the number of skills that I've acquired is really kind of crazy, because when I first got in, I was in a logistics battalion, and they needed intelligence support of a completely different kind than my next unit did, which was field artillery. So I went from warehousing and planning routes into long-range fires and a lot of kind of complicated calculation and risk analysis.
All right, so if you want to know intelligence, it's the guy that's wearing this, guys, not the guy that's wearing this.
All right, John, thank you so much. Appreciate the Army's participation in our broadcast this season here on Thursday Night Lights. Here's our United States Army highlights tonight, and as we said, it's been all Riverside. First touchdown of the game, Emil Jackson. That 2-yard run up the middle.
This is one where we see Clark plant that foot, turn upfield, get into the score.
Made it 12-0. There's that toss to Sykes, getting to the pylon. And once again, Jackson able to fight his way into the end zone. So Jackson with 2 touchdowns tonight. Sykes adding 1. And the quarterback Clark also with 1. Homecoming tonight for Rufus King. Riverside playing spoiler tonight, leading 28-0. Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights on My 24.
And it isn't as though Riverside's been driving up and down the field. Set them up.
Welcome back. Our halftime report continues here on the Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights, presented by U.S. Cellular. John Weiser and Kerry Kelly up in the booth. Thanks to Mike McGivern, John Pearson, and Carol Kane down on the sideline. 28-0 Riverside on top of King. Right now we're going to take some time and take a look at last week's Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals. Great moments from across the country.
Can't get a first down about the 2-yard line. Reynolds rolls right, throws to the back of the end zone. Jump ball is caught!
Underneath David Martin. Ball taken away by the defensive lineman. They went with the handoff, and Shovable gets a defensive play of their own. Gary Smith III rumbles into the end zone.
Sack stops for losses, and this spectacular one-handed interception that he returned to the house. Just the big man rumbling down the sideline to score.
Broke 2 tackles on the way to the end zone.
2nd and 11. Sweetland looks left. Running, still looking, throws, and near the end zone, and complete, and touchdown.
3 wides, low snap. Boyd has time, running out of it though.
And he's running out of this, and he's going to be going down the sidelines, makes a nice cutback, and he's got space. What a run by Boyd. He's going to score. No flags. Touchdown, Bernie.
That's a look at Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals from around the country. 28-0 Riverside on top of Rufus King. Hey, John, it looks like a Game of Thrones going on down there. What do you got?
Well, they're not nearly as dangerous. Yes, we have royalty on Heiser Automotive Group Thursday night lights. It's Giancarlo and Taylor. Obviously, he's the king and she's the queen of this. How did this happen here? Was there any doubt as the night wore on? And you'd sound very cocky if you said that you had no doubts. But
I've been trying for 3 years now, so, third time's a charm. And this is his first time. A little bit of doubt. It was like 12 girls running, so, yeah, a little hesitation. But, yeah, it was nice to win.
it worked out. I mean, does this matter to you? Is this something that's a big deal to you guys? It looks like you're having a great time with it.
I mean, it's just something we do for fun and just to, like, make a memory so I can just look back on it in the future. So that's pretty much it.
And Taylor, how do you deal with the paparazzi? For the rest of your life, there's going to be people stalking you and following you everywhere.
It's nice, I like getting my pictures taken, so, yeah.
Okay, back at Geneseo High School back in Illinois, I'm proud to say that I finished 197th for the Homecoming King, so this is my dream. Could you do the honors and possibly... Oh, I'm a king. Or possibly I could just have some Imperial margarine, a reference too old for them.
Oh, no, we're on that one, John. We get that one,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, a kingmaker in the making there with John Pearson there.
Beautiful.
Let's get to the stats. Here they are, and not surprising, the 4 turnovers leading to these 28 points, but look at those rushing totals.
Right, and you're struck by the fact Riverside doesn't want to bother to throw the ball, and we have not seen the Generals be able to get untracked.
They're going to need to here in the second half. Now they'll get the ball to start this third quarter. If you're Tom Wozniak, what are you doing?
Well, I think you can't just abandon your game plan. They wanted to run inside. They've got to do that, soften them up. They do have a couple threats to catch the ball, but if you're not able to establish a run game, that's not going to happen.
Second half set to come your way here right after this. All right, we'll keep it here. Again, this is for the Richardson Division title. The winner will take on, they've got one more divisional game next week, and if I recall here in my notes, Riverside has Bradley Tech next week at home, while King will be at Bayview next week to wrap up the divisional play. Then week 9 will be the crossover with the Blackburn Division champion facing the Richardson champion.
Yeah, first place team from each division meets the second place team and so on.
So as we mentioned, King will get the football. They'll defend the south goal here to our right to begin this second half.
And you mentioned that Bradley Tech will be coming up on the road for King. Our former stat man, Tom Swiddle, longtime football coach, wanted to get back into coaching, found a calling to go there, and his team is on the cusp of making it into the playoffs after starting off not quite hitting on all cylinders. So, I'm sure Coach Swiddle is watching this game with great interest.
I bet he is, and our best to him as he tries to rebuild what was once a very proud Tech program. Back deep to receive, Dion Talley for the Generals. They find themselves down 4 scores here. Arvian Wonders, who's done wonders tonight with that left foot kicking. He has placed some good balls out there on the short kicks. He'll kick this one away. Unfortunately, this one's going to drift out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Will give King good field position here. Now, we mentioned King and what they need to do for Riverside. They got to keep this momentum going.
Right. I mean, we've seen that their offense, the running game, has been going really well. I don't think we're going to see them start opening up and passing, but they're going to probably try to keep that system. We haven't seen quite as much of the RPO plays being called. I don't know if that's something they put on ice.
Again, these teams not built to come back from 4 scores with just a running game.
Right, and we know that the passing game has kind of befuddled King all year.
It's going to be Maurice Wallace at quarterback to start this third quarter for the Generals. He'll send Talley in motion. He'll keep it on the option, trying to get the edge here, and has some room. Nice cut up across the 40. Makes contact with the defender there at the 41-yard line, Corey White. Player of the Year a year ago in this conference, able to make the stop.
Yeah, honorable mention All-State, we mentioned earlier, ranked as the #1 defensive back in the state of Wisconsin.
With shoulder-to-shoulder contact that time. Gain of 8 on the play, sets up a 2nd down and 2. Just underway, third quarter. Again, the quarterback draw. And again, the Tigers sniffed that one out. Kiari Allen, the outside linebacker, stayed home that time, and that closed the gap for no gain.
Yeah, not exactly a veteran team across the board for Riverside. They do have a number of fantastic seniors, but we're seeing a number of juniors, a couple sophomores sprinkled in. The whole Riverside program continuing to build.
3rd and 2. Looks like Dupree back there. We don't have a quarterback. Who's going to take this snap? Are they going to go Wildcat here with Dupree? Looks like they will. This will be Dupree taking the snap. Running to the near boundary. Tries to cut it upfield, and boy, I'm not sure. Going to be close to the first down marker. Needed the 45. Devin Perez was there. Let's see where he marked him down. They got him at just shy of the 45-yard line. Boy, if you're King, you got to go for it here. You're down 28-0.
Yeah, you can't let the clock keep burning, so.
So 4th and inches here. They need to get it across the 45-yard line. Dupree did not get it. A surge by the Tiger defense denies Dupree on 4th down. The Tigers take over. Daquan Dalton was there immediately on the play.
Yeah, strong safety flew up there. 5'6", 174 pounds. They were trying to run that inside power.
Both he and James got there first. And so the Tiger defense takes it away from King on downs. Riverside will take over at the General 44. Jahari Clark in at quarterback. They'll fake the toss. Clark will keep it. We'll get a couple. Edward Rogers was there. So we take one more look. We're looking, had some success on that toss to Sykes. Now they're able to work some other options off of that.
Right. I mean, with this stable of backs that they have, they do have to force you to spread your defense out, which is exactly what Riverside likes to have happen.
2nd and 8 from the General 42. This time they will toss to Sykes. Sykes pulled down across the 40-yard line. Gain of about 3 on the play for Sykes. Looked like it was Rashad Sabaj that got in there, yanked him down.
Yeah, we've mentioned him before, coming back from that car accident. Don't know whether he got a little shook up there, just, trying to play his way back in.
Critical 3rd down. Generals need to get this ball back. They trail by 4 scores here early in this 3rd quarter. Clark gets the play from the sideline. They'll split the backfield of Hayes and Jackson. Hayes will get the call. Hayes, 1st down and more. Spinning inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line. Gain of 11 picks up a Gruber Law Offices first down here in this third quarter. Well, I'm impressed with Jameer Hayes, the junior.
Right, he doesn't get numerous carries, but he makes the most of his opportunities, that's for sure.
Terry, he's so confident. He hits that hole hard and just drives right through.
You know, they're getting a nice surge out of that offensive line that we talked about in the first half.
Hayes to the left, Jackson to the right of the quarterback, Clark. Emil Jackson, a couple of touchdowns tonight. Takes it down to the 26-yard line. Kendrick Gibson there to make the tackle, the nose guard.
Saw Jackson there with excellent lateral movement. Once he saw that hole being filled up, shuffled his way, tried to find a little seam.
And these are a pair of junior running backs here for Coach Pat Wagner. They have been impressive here tonight. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Ball to 26 of the Generals. Clark faking the end around. Has some room on that far sideline. Clark out of bounds short of the 12-yard line. Another Gruber Law Offices first down for Riverside as they deny King on their initial possession here of the third, trying to march it in.
Once again, we see another runner who's able to move laterally as well as straight forward.
First and 10 Riverside, just inside the King 12-yard line. Hayes to the outside. Hayes inside the 5. Jameer Hayes with the carry that time. Jalen Reed on the stop.
Despite the score, it's also being a little bit disheartening for King to see them run as much time off the clock.
Second and short here for the Tigers. Sykes will line up in a slot left side. Jackson, touchdown Riverside. Emil Jackson, I believe that's his third tonight.
Right, I mean, you watch all these runners, Clark, Jackson, Hayes, all of them, excellent movement, they're patient with following their blockers.
Once again, a look at the touchdown run by Emil Jackson. Just enough to get into the end zone, third time tonight. Neither team kicks for their extra points here.
And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, that is something that can give you a problem going down the way you get into the playoffs. Every point becomes critical.
Well, official timeout here. We'll head to the sideline. Mike McGivern, what do you have?
Hey guys, I'm here with Bill Mobeck. He's the Commissioner of Athletics and Academics. Billy, thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for being here again.
Yeah, well, nice homecoming. What a good crowd. Rufus King, not so good on the scoreboard, but man, this is a good team and they're getting after it.
Yep, they are both teams. Riverside's really quick, and King just has to take care of the ball a little bit, and maybe they can get back in this game.
Hey, how busy have you been? Oh, hold on. Got an injury here. Here we go. Thanks, Coach. How busy, first half of the year, how busy have you been?
It's very busy. We got a lot of stuff going on, but a lot of good things too. So,
yeah.
And next year we got some new stadiums coming too. I don't know if you know that, Mike, but Vincent High School is getting a new stadium, so that'll be good and ready to go by the end of the year here. And
awesome.
Pulaski's getting some turf too, so we'll have 4 stadiums ready to roll for next fall.
That's awesome. He's Bill Mobeck. I'll tell you, he's one of the good guys here in the city. Billy, it's good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. And thanks again for being here.
You bet. Back to you, boys.
Mike, Bill, thank you. Bill, thank you again for allowing us the opportunity to carry this game here tonight. Two-point conversion was no good. There was a penalty on Riverside. And because they did not get in for the two-point conversion, King will decline. This holding call remains 34-0.
Point after was no good. Penalty is declined.
I think that was Adon Mitchell
King
went
kicks
out.
off.
Looks like he might have got the wind knocked out of him a little bit as he's sitting on the bench.
So following that stop on 4th down, they go 56 yards in 7 plays. Jackson, his 3rd touchdown tonight.
Having quite a night.
So RVN Wonders. Kicks have been an adventure tonight for King's special teams. They have had problems tonight.
Right, and they've got a couple guys who are nicked up now, and they're trying to sort things out and get the right people on the field for this kickoff return.
Again, they'll kick it away, and they'll go out of bounds. 2nd time tonight. They've kicked that one out of bounds, kicking it away from Dion Talley. King will have it at their 35-yard line. Just over 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Listen to Wednesday's Varsity Blitz show presented by your local Pick and Save stores this Saturday morning at 10. Mike McGivern and Ryan McMillan will be talking with Steve Tenhagen, head coach at Burlington High School, and Dustin Haas, head football coach at Carthage College, will join them Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon on Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan.
You might know Coach Haas quite well.
Yeah. Oh, Mike's going to have fun with that interview. Dustin Haas is a pleasure to visit with. Let's see what King can put together here. Dupree in motion. They'll try the inside handoff. Riverside has been there all night.
Yeah,
Lamonta King will get credited with the tackle for no gain.
Yeah, they don't have to really fear the passing attack, so they're able to pretty much load the box, read their keys, and just come in after them.
They've held King to under 100 yards total offense here tonight. Again, this is a King team coming in averaging 32 points a game. And they've been held off the score sheet thus far.
Now, we don't know whether Nolan Nixon's a little bit beat up again, or they're trying to change up things with Maurice Wallace.
This time Wallace wants to pass. They try and set up the screen. One-handed grab at the line of scrimmage by Kai Ross, but no gain. He was wrapped up just as the ball got there. Taylon Nash credited with the stop. Coach Wozniak for the Generals. Third and 10 here for King at their own 35-yard line.
Keep looking at your play sheet. You don't have a lot of fantastic 3rd and 10 calls that leap off that page.
Wallace will take the snap. End around here. Dion Talley, gain of about 3 out to the 38-yard line. And again, the quickness on the closing speed of that defense. Amon Williams, first team all-conference at safety, there to close.
Yeah, Coach Wagner says Amon Williams is special. He's one of those guys who really has nose for the ball, really studies his opponent well.
Williams with 3 defensive touchdowns earlier this season against Hamilton. 4th and 7 from the 39-yard line. Engelbrecht has had an adventure punting as well. High snap gets this one away. Take a King bounce. It'll be picked up and immediately wrapped up there. Javon Bird getting down on special teams. Cover up White, and that'll take us to our break. 34-0 Riverside over Rufus King tonight. Our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Tigers on top of the Generals, 34-0 here midway through the 3rd quarter. For all the info on the green and gold, including special guests, players, and more, watch Locker Room Tuesday nights at 9 on My Place for Sports, My 24. Custer Stadium, the place tonight. Riverside putting a hurt on King. Nice tackle in the backfield that time. Well, the few times they've stopped. Adon Mitchell back in there. He was hurt earlier. Good to see him back in there. On the carry, that was Ojari Clark. Jahari's brother in there now as one of the running backs, 5'8", 165.
And he's played some quarterback this season as well.
This time it's Hayes. Left side with lots of room. Hayes, first down out across the 47-yard line. Another 14-yard run by Jameer Hayes. Quinton Davis got him to the boundary. That'll be a Gruber Law Office's first down.
Just starting to wear down King now. The reality of what the score is and where they stand in the game also impacts your attitude.
They'll mark it at the 48-yard line. 15-yard run by Hayes. 3:53 to go here in the third. Jari Clark to midfield. Gain of 2. At least the rain has stopped here. It rained much of the first half. Now Pat Wagner getting in some of the reserves in that running role here with the lead as it stands here late in the third. Hayes tripped up from behind the line that time. Looks like Braden Stone in there now at one of the linebacking spots here for the King Generals.
Yeah, King's had a couple of players have to leave the game with, it looks like minor injuries, but once again, it's, throwing their whole plan out the window.
Stay tuned. At the end of the game tonight, we'll highlight our player of the game. That's brought to you by the United States Army, Army Strong. 3rd and long, 3rd and 6 here from the 49. They'll toss it. Chris Sykes will run out of room short of the 45-yard line. Chased out of there by Braden Stone, I should say. So 4th and 3 here for Riverside. This time they will punt it away. Arvian Wonders.
First punt of the evening,
yes,
for Riverside.
It's this one away, a nice one here. Still on his feet, out to the 25-yard line. Javon Bird on the return. Nasir Slade on the stop, and there's an injured King player at the 25-yard line. Again, special thanks to Dan for providing our wonderful food each week for our Thursday Night Lights staff and crew. You can check them out at dandannmke.com for their complete menu and delivery options. The spring rolls were good tonight, by the way. I had my share.
I might have had one. Or 2.
I had at least one. Okay, I had 2. Well, I'll admit it.
Excellent food all year from Dan.
That could be a costly injury here. Kai Ross. Take another look on the return. Ross got caught in the wash that time.
Yeah, he was coming up to throw a block, and the defender just came into him.
He's being helped off here to the near sideline. Injuries have mounted here tonight. We lost Adon Mitchell for a while, though he came back. See what King will do here. Dupree. One of his best runs tonight across the 32-yard line out to the 33. Mike Dupree, first team all-conference on the carry. Richard James there in on the stop.
Yeah, they're sprinkling in a few newcomers into the Riverside defense as well.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the third. Handed off, confusion in the backfield, and Dupree wrapped up for a loss. Back at the 30-yard line, it'll be a loss of 3. Slade, the inside linebacker, was right there. And again, without Ross, you've got Dupree now sliding over to the running back spot.
You've taken Nolan Dixon out of the lineup. You've taken Kai Ross, Justin Colbert, all 3 of those players off on the sidelines now.
This will be 3rd and 5 from the 30. Again, Dupree wrapped up in the backfield, may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. James right there again. Make that tackle.
You saw him cut right in under the block, get into the backfield to make that tackle.
Riverside's quickness tonight just too much for King. Particularly the closing speed on defense. The holes are there, and then they immediately close off. The pursuit
is
really good to the ball. They rally hard to the ball.
They really do.
High snap goes over Engelbrecht's head. It's loose inside the 5. It'll be a scoop and score. Richard James on the scoop and score over the snap going over Engelbrecht's head. Special teams disaster once again for Rufus King. James knew what to do. He was going to pick that up any way he could, get that in the end zone for 6. Once again, the Tigers going for 2. Clark in for 2 will make it 42-0 Riverside. And there is a flag down as well.
Don't think
call this one back.
I don't think Riverside was set.
On the offense. Replay the try, 5 yards back. Number 1.
They'll retry the 2-point conversion.
Well, I'm sure Ojari Clark is probably saying to his brother, you know, you could hand off to me for the 2 points. Could be interesting dinner table conversations at the Clark household.
Clark will line up. We'll go double wing here with Clark and Hayes. This time, Ojari going to block for his brother. He'll make it in. Jahari gets the 2-point conversion, but if it wasn't for Ojari doing his work, Jahari would not have gotten the 2 points.
And I'm pretty sure his brother is going to remind him of that
I bet.
A little later this evening.
That'll be a dining room table discussion.
Can see him get to the outside, cuts under his brother's block. Nice little cut, turns it in.
Well, with the 42-point lead, we'll have a rolling clock heading into the 4th quarter.
And I'm sure Coach Wozniak and his staff, you know, feel just horrible. I mean, they came into the game with high expectations, and things have just spiraled away from them in terms of mishandling kicking game, critical penalties. You know, you name it, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Our friend Tom Swiddle watching at home. Bradley Tech, the next opponent here for Riverside, I should say, next week.
Well, I'm sure he's scribbling a few things down. Coach Swittle will work very hard to have his guys ready.
And a low line drive. Talley will return it out near the 30-yard line. The clock's going to run out. Our third quarter is going to come to an end here at Custer Stadium. All Riverside tonight. Special teams, offense, and defense getting into the act tonight. 42-0 Tigers. Our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights presented by U.S. Cellular on My 24. Riverside dominating this battle for the Richardson Division title tonight. City Conference play on My 24. John Weiser, Terry Kelly up in the booth. Mike McGivern, John Pearson, and Carol Kane on the sideline tonight. Again, we have a running clock here to begin this fourth quarter.
Nolan Dixon back in the game once again. If you have turf toe, I don't know if folks know how painful that is. So it could be that he's been really hobbled up, and now they're trying almost anything to get the offense going.
Second down, 10. Dixon launches it out there incomplete beyond the intended receiver, Jerry Cross. We're told a very good-looking freshman here, 6'4", 200 pounds, and Coach Wozniak can't wait to watch this player develop through his program.
It's one of those things, sometimes schools, if they see themselves as a running school, you don't work on your passing game as much, and it actually has an impact on your defense to handle it. Riverside, of course, tonight, they're not trying to pass the ball, so that hasn't been the problem for the Generals this evening.
And losing your number one running back, Kai Ross, here in the second half.
That's a problem.
Got to hurt. Now they've got to take a timeout. They didn't have enough players on the field, so a timeout taken here by King. Now brought to you by Sweetwater. It's time now for our watershed moment of the game. And here it comes. This was early. The blocked punt. And then the return down the near sideline by Lamonta King. That set up the second touchdown tonight for Riverside and set them going. So remember, you can be a game changer in your watershed when it rains. Stormwater washes litter, yard waste, and chemicals and other debris into our rivers and lakes. Visit respectourwaters.org to learn what you can do to prevent water pollution.
Yeah, that play kind of opened the floodgates, and it just, kind of went downhill after that.
Following the timeout, 3rd and 10 for the Generals at their own 30-yard line. In motion to the near side, setting up trips here is Deion Talley. We'll try and throw it back the other way, and that one's an incomplete pass. No one home. Mike Dupree was the only eligible receiver near that. And so 4th and 10. Looks like they'll bring the punting unit back on, and that has been an adventure tonight for head coach Tom Wozniak.
Those are the game tapes that you want to get rid of watching this, but I'm sure Coach Wozniak and his staff going to try to figure out, okay, here's what we've got to do to correct this problem.
Corey White standing at midfield. He's returned 2 punts this year for touchdowns. He'll get a chance here, perhaps. Nope, this will be the short man, Williams. Amon Williams down the far sideline. Williams will punch it in for 6. Amon Williams, that's his second touchdown return of the year. This one from 45.
Yeah, earlier the year he had a 78-yard return. You really don't want to kick to either Corey White or Amon Williams.
Another look here. Right from midfield, a 50-yard return. There is a penalty marker down, however. Was it after the score?
Yeah. Mon's only a junior, also happens to be a very fine baseball player for Riverside.
Personal foul occurred after the touchdown. It's going to go against King, so the score will count. They'll add 15 onto the kickoff.
And we're going to see something we don't see quite often from Riverside. They're going to attempt an extra point by kick.
Arvion Wonders. Izzy Tenajaro on the hold. And that one, no good. 48-0 Riverside. They've had offense, defense, and special teams scoring. "50-yard return from Amon Williams, a junior.
You know, one of the things we should mention is, you know, people look at the city conference, and I don't think sometimes it gets the respect it deserves. And these coaches are working hard with their programs. And, you know, we found out something talking to one of the coaches this week. Here's a problem most coaches around the state of Wisconsin don't have to deal with. One of the coaches was trying to get all the paperwork cleared so their athlete could play tonight, but he's homeless. So that all had to get verified with the central office. You know, and they're working like mad trying to provide avenues for these student athletes to be successful in life. We heard Coach Wozniak talk about this. We heard Pat Wagner also talk at pregame to Mike. And you say, all right, we have to respect what they're doing, some of the struggles they have, but also we need to celebrate some of the successes that they have.
That 15-yard personal foul penalty will be assessed here on the kickoff, so Riverside will kick off from the King 45 and will launch that in the end zone for the touchback. 20-yard line start here for the Generals. Well, been in this position time or two, and really what you need to do here, find some things that's going to build confidence going into next week. You want to at least get some traction here, get any type of a score you can, take the zero off the board, but do it in a way that you can use this as a teaching moment.
Yeah, you know you're going to advance in the playoffs, and so what you need to do is you have to get your old mojo back, so to speak.
I think this is where coach looks at his play sheet and says, okay, I want 3 or 4 of the plays that we run well. Let's get out there and run those plays.
Right, and we know that the inside power was one of their, you know, main fortes, but, you know, now given the flow of the game, that kind of has gone out the window, and you almost have to say, okay, do we have okay, and now we're struggling to get the right people on the field.
So their second timeout taken here because they weren't able to get enough personnel on the field.
See Anthony Dowry huddling up with his offense. You know, I'm sure, as you just mentioned, John, okay, we've got to find something we can look at and say, all right, here's what we can do, because you want to move forward.
I'm looking at the Blackburn division here. That's the winners will cross over in week 9. Right now, Milwaukee Reagan and Milwaukee Vincent sitting atop there. Reagan at 4-1, Vincent or 4-0, and Vincent at 4-1. So the winner of this game would be the Richardson division champion in all probability. So we're going to take a break here with 9:54 to go here in this fourth quarter. We'll take a commercial break. Riverside on top of Rufus King, our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights presented by U.S. Cellular.
Thank you to all of our fine sponsors,
48-0 Tigers on top of the Generals tonight. Here in our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights. See how the officers of District 21 catch criminals on the mean streets of Chicago. Watch Chicago PD Tuesday nights at 7 on My 24. Swinging out near side, Maurice Wallace with the catch. Out to the 25-yard line. Tyrell Hazelwood there on the stop.
Hazelwood hasn't been tested much at that corner position because King's not going to be throwing the ball that much to the outside.
Second down, 5 from the 25. Again, they'll swing it out in space. Bird with the catch out to the 30-yard line, close to a first down. Brought down on the play by Corey White. Will be a first down. First downs this quarter brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics.
First down, Generals.
Been running clock here. And up until this point, this King offense have been averaging 32 points a game while allowing just 16 per contest. Pressure. Dixon, nowhere to go. Cornelius Bowie getting in there. Reserve defensive end along with Marquise Jones for the Tigers.
And 82.
Be a loss back to the 20-yard line. We'll set up a 2nd and 20 for the Generals. They'll go empty, 5 wides, 2 to the left, 3 to the near side here for King. This time with time to throw, and it goes in and out of Bird's hands, incomplete. He was open. Found a little seam behind the linebackers and in front of the defensive back. We got another player down. That's the quarterback, Nolan Dixon. All season, we'll have the opportunity to talk with sponsors, coaches, and other guests down on the sidelines, finding out what's going on in the schools and communities we visit. Our sideline reports this season brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. It's that turf toe injury again, too. I think that's got Nolan Dixon shaken up. He's going to have to leave for at least one play here.
Yeah, there's not much you can do for a turf toe injury. You know, rest, they've done that through part of the year. There are ways to tape the toe, but the pain is so sharp. You know, it radiates from that point of injury all the way up the leg, and it can be excruciating.
Looks like that's going to be number 18 at the quarterback spot now. Solomon Dotson.
I think it's Maurice Wallace.
Or was that Wallace? Anyways, they'll complete the pass near side. Jerry Cross. Cross breaking free. Cross undercut inside the 20-yard line. 60-yard catch. Corey White saved the touchdown.
We'd been talking about the 6'4" freshman and what he could do, and that time he was able to kind of get a jump ball situation.
Wallace just heaved that one up right in front of the defensive back, Tyrell Hazelwood. Another stoppage of play here as a Riverside player down. And that might be Hazelwood who got hurt on that play. Beautiful pitch that time by Wallace, who was under some duress, threw that off his back foot, still got it downfield. Good for the 62-yard pickup down to the 18-yard line.
I think Hazelwood kind of got caught underneath as Jerry Cross went to the ground. He's looks like more like an ankle.
Hazelwood, a 5'8", 155-pound junior. So they'll move Talon Nash over to the corner on that far side. Normally a safety. was on the tackle here, chasing down Jerry Cross. Right there as he stopped to go for the loose ball. Wallace, not much room there. No gain on the play. Brought down by Marcel Rash.
On the tackle, Rash.
6.5 minutes to go here.
No gain on the play.
Riverside going to hit to 5-0 in conference play.
2nd and 10 for first down.
At Richardson Division, with one more divisional game next week against Bradley Tech. And then in week 9, 2 leaders of both divisions for the city conference crown. Empty with 5 receivers, 3 here to the near side for Maurice Wallace. Again going Bird's way, and again overthrown. Looking for Jerry Cross, excuse me.
Meanwhile, King has to get themselves ready to play Bayview next week before they head for their crossover game.
Both teams playoff eligible. Their 4 wins in conference. So they are in. 2 weeks left in the regular season. It's gone by fast.
Where has it gone? Some big games coming up to decide who might be in that Woodland Conference Championship game we had for the last season. And
that Milwaukee Lutheran Shorewind Messmer game tomorrow is going to be a hoot. Another timeout, their final timeout taken here by King. They are out of timeouts here in the half. Stop the clock here with 5:11 to go in this contest. We talk about taking your game to the next level, and both teams have had some representatives that have done so. You look here on this King team, of course, Lance Kendricks, who's playing for the Green Bay Packers right now, a product of King High School in Wisconsin.
Right.
All-American at Madison, and he was a second-round draft pick by the St. Louis Rams back in 2011. Kendricks still in there playing for the Packers. And then the other side for Riverside, you got, of course, Eric Murray. Everybody knows Murray playing for the Kansas City Chiefs out of the University of Minnesota. And then how about Brandon Brooks? Brooks, 3rd-round pick out of Houston, was a Pro Bowl selection last year and got a Super Bowl ring with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Something to come back and show the folks back here in Milwaukee.
So both coaches proud of who they've developed here through the years, pushing them onto that 2nd and 3rd level, if you will, from Saturdays to Sundays. So 3rd and 10 here for King following the timeout. Under pressure, gets it away. Going for the one-hand grab that time was Mike Dupree, couldn't come away with it. Was just throwing that one away.
Yeah, they've tried that screen pass, and they just don't have that thing worked on so that it's smooth.
Yeah, the timing by the lineman. Too much of an early release to let the defense through.
The old idea, 1001, 1002, 1000, go, let them go, get in front.
So 4th and 10 now. Empty backfield once again. This is Dixon back in there now at quarterback, I believe.
Thank you.
On 4th and 10, Dixon under pressure, and down he goes at the 20-yard line. Sack registered by Eric Young. One more look on the 4th down sack. Got around Javon Bird, the tight end that time.
Yeah, 6 foot, 190-pound junior, getting his chance to get in on the defense.
So the Tigers will get to 6-1, 5-0 in the Richardson. And And they will take on Bradley Tech next week before crossing over to face the Blackburn Division champion. Right now, that's Milwaukee Reagan by half game over Vincent. A loss here of about 2. Rogers able to take down.
Rogers, the team captain for the King Generals. Coach Wozniak said he, truly a leader through the offseason over the summer.
Izzy Tenajaro at quarterback. Just run the inside handoff here. Got a penalty marker down. That's another area that King's going to need to work on this week. Clean up the physical mistakes, the physical penalties tonight.
Legal formation. Illegal formation
Actually,
on the
go
offense.
against Riverside. Both teams have had
You want to
yellow
decline
hanky
it?
trouble tonight.
King fans will estimate on the north end of the stadium.
Second down, 17 yards to go.
Second and long here for Riverside. And they've got touchdowns on all 3 phases of their game here tonight. Toss here to the near side. It's Armand Michael, his first carry tonight for Riverside.
43 on the carry.
Takes it out near the 25-yard line.
King also trying to get some players in. Their homecoming. It's not the way they wanted to celebrate it, but coaching staff wants to give everybody their shot.
In on that stop, Shane Rice for the King Generals. Under a minute to go. 3rd and 7 from the 23. And Najaro in trouble, and down he goes back near the 15-yard line. Kayshawn Price in there defensively for the Generals. Bring up 4th down, and Riverside just as soon run another play from scrimmage here if they have to. About a 3-second difference. So they will have to snap the ball at least here. In this case, you take the snap and line her up in victory formation, I believe, would be the call here. Last snap of the game. Tenajaro going to go down at the 14-yard line, and that will do it here at Custer Stadium. It's a final. Riverside, your Richardson Division champs of the City Conference, as they knock down Rufus King tonight by a final of 48-0. When we come back, we'll visit with our player of the game. We'll award the championship trophy when we come back right after this on My 24. All 3 phases of the game working tonight for Riverside University High School. The Tigers knock off Rufus King by a final of 48-0, and they go to 5-0 in the Richardson Division. They are the division champs, and they'll wait to find out who they play in 2 weeks for the true City Conference Championship.
That crossover game, and then getting ready for the playoffs.
We're getting ready on the sideline here. We've got our Player of the Game award sponsored by the United States Army. Here's Mike.
Hey guys, Emil Jackson, his mom Tony, really proud of him, I'm sure. Hey, nice job. U.S. Army Player of the Game. Look, we thought this was going to be a close game coming in, and you guys had second thoughts.
No.
No, certainly at the end you did. Yeah. You guys are rolling right now. I haven't seen a team. I haven't seen a team with the kind of team speed that you guys have. And there's some people you told me before we went on you wanted to thank.
My line, for one.
Yeah.
I can't do nothing without my line, so I want to thank them guys. And then the receivers, they did a good job blocking as well, so thank you for that.
In my best days, I couldn't catch you. Man, you got a lot of speed. U.S. Army Player of the Game, Sergeant Washburn.
How's it going? On behalf of the Milwaukee Recruiting Battalion, United States Army, I'd like to present you with this Player of the Game trophy, man. Good job.
Congratulations. I tell you what, he's a man of few words, but you see him on the field today. He's an awfully good football player. Boys, back to you.
Mike, thank you. The junior had a great night tonight. 3 touchdowns tonight, got things rolling for this Riverside offense right from the get-go tonight. 9 carries,
Burrowed
52
right in
yards. You bet. Has some good moves. Again, has grown with this program. Again, played with this team as a sophomore, and I think that's amazing, talking about how the speed of the game kind of slows down as you move your way through your program.
And as you look at, the weapons that Riverside possesses, you can see why they can give people problems.
Our Player of the Game presentation to Emil Jackson, brought to you by United States Army. Army strong. 48-0 Riverside on top of King. Time now to head to the sideline for our Winners Trophy presentation, brought to you by Rudig Trophies. When you think trophies, think Rudig Trophies. When we think sideline, we think of Mike McGivern.
Hey, guys, I love Patrick Wagner. He said, look, I want Rick James to hold this trophy. You had an awfully good game, Rick. Congratulations. That's a good win for you guys.
Thank you. We just came out to try to dominate the city and win every game.
And so far, so good.
Yes, sir.
So, Patrick, we talked a little bit about team speed and speed kills. And I'm telling you that one guy was faster than the other. I thought the speed of your team overall just took control of this game.
We do. We work on it every day. It's how we start practice. A lot of just quick footwork and stride drills every day. And that's why we do it, so we can outrun people.
And we have to talk about the offensive line. I thought by the middle of the second quarter, they took control. Yep. I mean, these guys had gaps. This offensive line was really impressive to me.
Pretty good, aren't they? Yeah, when they get after it, man, they blow some holes up. It's nice.
Man, congratulations. Get one more game and get the conference and then get them ready for the playoffs. Coach, well done.
Thanks a lot.
All right, boys, here we go. Let's go.
Congratulations, Riverside University High School. The Tigers, Richardson Division champions for the City Conference as they knock off Rufus King tonight by a final of 48-0. We'll take a break. Back with some more here from Custer Stadium right after this. Riverside Tigers snap a 6-game losing skid at the hands of King here tonight in fine fashion, 48-0. They take down the Generals tonight, lay claim to the Richardson Division of the Milwaukee City Conference. They got Bradley Tech next week. Meanwhile, King plays Bayview in the Week 8 game, and then the crossover championship Week 9. They'll either take on Milwaukee Reagan or Milwaukee Vincent for this true City Conference title.
The Tigers were roaring tonight, as John Pearson would say, and put on quite the exhibition.
Next week we head south. Kenosha, matchup of Kenosha as Kenosha Bradford takes on the Hawks from Indian Trail. That'll be next Thursday night at 7. Again, a reminder, we'll have a rebroadcast of tonight's game Sunday night at 7 right here on My 24. A great thank you to our fine My 24 sports crew here tonight, for Carol Kane and John Pearson, Mike McGivern down on the sideline. To our booth help here tonight, George Papacristo, our spotter, Ryan Horvat, our stat man. For Terry Kelly, John Weiser wishing you a very pleasant good evening from Custer Stadium in Milwaukee. Riverside over King, 48-0. Our Heiser Automotive Group Thursday Night Lights, presented by U.S. Cellular.